No, that can't be right. A $60 lip gloss in this economy?
What's the emergency? Did Dogecoin replace the dollar?
Worse, the jobs report just came out, growth is slowing to a crawl, and we are spending $60 on a cosmetic. It's like a scene from a movie about the end of the world.
It's called self-care, a little psychological boost during these stressful times. It's an affordable luxury.
Affordable luxury. That's the key phrase. What if I told you that small, seemingly irrational purchases like this and the things we suddenly stop buying can be the whispers of a coming economic storm? They're part of a strange shadow world of economic indicators far from Wall Street. And my own confession is the other side of the coin. I haven't bought new underwear in 6 months.
I'm not sure the world needed to know that.
But it's a perfect example. It's a theory from one of the most powerful economists of the last century, Alan Greenspan, the former chairman of the Fed. Greenspan championed something now known as the Men's Underwear Index, or MUI. The logic is that underwear is a basic necessity, so sales are normally stable. But because it's a non-visible item, it's one of the first expenses that men cut when they feel financial pressure. It's a silent scream of spending cuts. A dip in sales could signal a deep drop in consumer confidence.
So, my lipstick is an affordable indulgence that you start buying, and your old underwear is a hidden necessity that you stop buying.
Exactly. And the psychology behind your purchase, the lipstick effect, is fascinating. The term lipstick effect was coined by Leonard Lauder, chairman of Estee Lauder, who noticed that in the downturn following 9/11, his lipstick sales actually went up by 11%.
So, the theory is that people buy more lipstick when the economy is bad. But why?
It's driven by a core principle of behavioral economics, the substitution effect. When a big-ticket luxury item like a designer handbag or a vacation feels financially out of reach, the desire for a treat doesn't just vanish. It gets substituted. Consumers swap the large, unaffordable indulgence for a smaller, more accessible one that provides a similar emotional uplift. It's a way of maintaining a sense of normalcy and control when everything else feels uncertain. This is a form of hedonic consumption, purchasing for pleasure, which becomes even more important during stressful times.
That makes sense. It's a retail therapy, but on a budget. But does the data actually support it? This is interesting. According to Wall Street Journal, during the 2008 recession, lipstick sales actually fell. The theory didn't hold up.
That's a major piece of contradictory evidence.
And a 2022 report from Nielsen IQ suggests that the entire index might be outdated, finding that the lower income consumers have been pulling back on purchasing cosmetics due to inflation. And during the pandemic, with the masks on, it wasn't the lipstick index, it was the mascara index.
And this is the problem with anecdotal indicators. They are inconsistent. They are fascinating stories about consumer psychology, but they are not reliable forecasting tools. To get a real sense of where the economy is headed, we need to look at the data the professionals use. If you want to find the ghost in the machine, you have to look at the single most reliable indicator of an economic downturn. You have to look at the yield curve. Think of it like this. When you lend money to the government by buying a bond, you expect to be paid more interest for a longer loan. More risk, more reward. That's a normal yield curve. It slopes upward. A 10-year government bond pays more than a 3-month one. But sometimes the market gets a fever. Investors become more scared of the immediate future than the distant future. This is an inversion. It happens when short-term bonds start paying higher interest rates than long-term bonds. It's a massive vote of no confidence in the short-term economy. This one signal has preceded nearly every US recession since 1950, with only one false positive. Researchers at the Federal Reserve have identified the spread between the 10-year Treasury and the 3-month Treasury as the most reliable predictor. That's the one we need to watch. An inversion here is a signal that investors are so worried about a near-term crash that they're piling into long-term bonds as a safe haven. driving their yields down. But it's more than just a safe haven. It's an active bet. Investors are anticipating that the Federal Reserve will be forced to cut short-term interest rates in the future to fight the coming recession. So they lock in today's higher long-term yields before they fall. Look at this. Before the dot-com bust in 2001, it went negative. Before the Great Recession of 2008, it went negative. The signal is astonishingly clear. Once the spread turns negative, the clock starts ticking. The lead time varies, but on average, a recession follows within about 11 to 12 months. But it's not a simple switch. The curve can reinvert, dipping in and out of negative territory multiple times before a recession finally hits, as it did in 2006 before the 2008 crisis. And there have been false positives. In 1998, the curve briefly inverted after the Russian debt default, but quick interest rate cuts by the Fed helped avert a US recession. The most recent inversion in 2022-23 was also unique. It occurred in the shadow of the pandemic. Massive global supply chain disruptions and geopolitical conflicts. These events created supply-driven inflation that temporarily masked some of the typical recession signals, making the yield curve's message harder to interpret. But the fundamental signal that the cost of money in the short term was unsustainably high compared to long-term growth prospects remained. So what is the curve telling us now? As of late August 2025, the spread is at a negative 0.04%. The curve is inverted again. While it's been fluctuating, this return to negative territory shows that the bond market remains pessimistic, pricing in a high probability of an economic slowdown.
The yield curve is a measure of investor sentiment. But what about how regular people are feeling? For that, we turn to the Consumer Confidence Index, or CCI. The CCI is a monthly survey from the Conference Board that asks thousands of households about their personal finances, job security, and expectations for the future. The readings are compiled into an index benchmarked to 100. A reading above 100 indicates optimism, below 100 signals pessimism. This is a crucial leading indicator because consumer spending is the primary engine of the US economy. If people feel pessimistic, they save more and spend less. That change in behavior can create the very economic slowdown that they are afraid of. So what is the latest reading telling us?
The overall index for August 2025 dipped slightly to 97.4, showing that confidence has stabilized at a subdued, slightly pessimistic level.
From an economist's perspective, the signals are nuanced.
The yield curve spread is hovering near the critical zero bound, and consumer confidence remains below the neutral 100 mark.
This means that the economy is navigating a period of uncertainty, making these economic indicators important to watch in the months ahead. So while the lipstick and underwear indexes are fun thought experiments about consumer psychology, they aren't the reliable signals that will tell you a recession is coming. The real story is told in the data. It's in the subtle, powerful language of the bond market and the aggregated mood of thousands of households. Understanding the yield curve and the CCI doesn't give you a crystal ball, but it gives you a map. What are some of the key economic indicators you pay attention to? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to understand the complex forces shaping our economy, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.